Good morning, everyone. My name is Josh Tan, the team leader from Market Center 2. And today basically was an exciting day because we have a few panelists, two panelists in today joining us. One is Abang Isham, the other one is Hishamuddin, basically background as a lawyer to help us understand a little bit about the land titles available in Malaysia. Now, most of us are very familiar with a leasehold and the freehold. I know Hisham is smiling because I mentioned lawyer, but I didn't mention he was a real estate agent. He's a qualified real estate agent, actually with MC2 also. But his previous experience was as a lawyer side, coming in to help us understand. But what I want to share you a picture to help us get understanding, because a lot of us know about freehold, leasehold, but very few of us understand the Malay reserve land and some of the other issues related to land titles. And hopefully today you can ask your questions so that basically we can help you understand that. Let me share a slide with you to just start today's time to see that what are the perspectives that we have in terms of understanding about land titles and so forth. Now, y'all can see this particular picture here. Now, on the chat box, why don't you write down what you think this picture is trying to say? There are three clips there, the top, the middle, and the bottom part. What do you think basically this picture is trying to convey? I know it's early in the morning, but just maybe right now, what do you think basically this picture, because this is not a new picture, some of you have seen it before. What exactly is the first guy and the second guy doing? Okay, Hannah mentioned, so glad to learn from you all, keep digging until you get diamond. Okay, which is for real estate agent today, if you are where you at one, don't stop, keep digging. Your diamonds is going to be there very fast. Hopefully with campaign coming up, basically you can do that. Elaine says determination, keep trying, you will get the big diamond. Okay, so some of you can see big diamond, some can see the small diamond there. Focus in what you're actually doing. Focus on the pathway, you know, and we've been talking about the yellow brick road. Basically, you must know where you're at and the goal, and you must have basically a yellow brick road, basically a plan of action you can execute to get to the goal. Very good. Focus. Don't get jealous or envy about what others result. Okay. Focus on your own diamond. When you lose focus, you miss out on your own path. Digging for diamond does not belong. Okay, Tina says digging for diamond does not belong to us. Okay, now that's yeah, we shouldn't be digging for diamonds that don't belong to us, but if you dig in your own backyard, then you can. Now this, don't be distracted and stay focused on your own goal with big actions here. Now, there is a story basically of, that's from a book that's called Acres of Diamond. Russell Conwell tells the story of two farmers. The first farmer sells his farm to the other so he can go in search of precious diamonds. And the story ends with the first farmer never finding his precious diamond. And the new farmer found the acres of diamond in the very same backyard that the farmer sold the land. And the moral of the story basically is the fact you probably already have or know everything you need to be successful. So instead of looking for a new you, we need to go back and look at the old ones and look at what are areas that you're farming that you can do well and continue to do that. So keep trying, don't give up, keep digging. You can look at the neighbor's diamond, but again, it's that yes, that is one possibility, but what about your own one? So today there's one perspective that we are familiar with. Keep looking for new areas to go in and look for opportunities. You can dig on your own area, but I want to share a new perspective today for you also. Now, how many of you realize that you have a big diamond right beneath you, basically in Klang Valley? We know about leasehold properties, we know about freehold properties, but how many of us know about Malay reserve land? Most of us want to do a freehold properties, but we prefer not to do leasehold because we are not sure and it takes too long. Malay reserve land or leasehold properties, some of these ones that you might be afraid to do, those might be diamonds right beneath your feet that you need to learn how to recognize it. So today, education is the new lead generation. So I want you to explore and have your mind open that basically if you're doing freehold, maybe you might look at some areas of leasehold that's growing. Maybe consider some of the areas in Malay Reserve today that developers are going in and whether that area is something that you can propose to your clients. If you don't know there's a diamond underneath you, basically you won't dig. So today my challenge was you have your mind open, look at basically understanding the titles, but at the same time, look at possibility to know what is available in Klang Valley that you can propose to your clients. And then once you know, clarity is power. So if you know what is available, then you think through what opportunities do I have to propose to my existing clients that basically I can help them. So by helping them be successful, in return, I can also be successful. Okay. So I want you to keep that picture in mind, because we must say, this is not for me. But yet today I want you to start with an open mind. Possibly you might have a few Malay clients that might be interested in this particular area. Explore that. So keep that in mind, so that we can start this time together. So Abang Ikhwan, I'll pass the time over to you to help us. Maybe start with Hisham first. Start to help us understand our titles, and then basically from there you can pass on Abang to help us understand about new opportunities available for us. Take it away, Hisham.
Yes, thank you, George. Morning, everyone. Salam Jumaat. Hari ini hari Jumaat. So actually today we are going to discuss about the title in Malaysia. Actually, I will only touch a little bit on the title in Malaysia, and the rest will be covered by Abang. I think I only take 15 minutes to present my slides, and then the rest will pass to Abang. I think I share my slide first. So my full name is Shahrul Hisham bin Mohammed, not Hishamuddin. So I'm one of the productive coach in MC2, USJ Abang, and one of the team member of Legasi platform, led by Abang Ikhwan. All right. As introduction, I think most of us knows that land law in Malaysia governed by National Land Code, ataupun in Malay we call it Kanun Tanah Negara 1965. Okay, that particular code we take from torrent system from Australia. Okay, and then we adopt it in Malaysia, and from time to time there is an amendment to suit with our land in Malaysia. Right. So according to National Land Code, which follow the torrent system, title, or we call it geran in Malay, or in full issue document of title is everything. Right. So whatever consists in the title, that's present the ownership of the proprietor or the owner of the land. Okay. In terms of condition of the land, in terms of category of the land, what type of land, all in the grant or in the title, right? So before we only have not very systematic system in land office. So mostly the government use title, but normally when they process the title, we just put in handwriting. But now we have a system which is more suitable with the current situation. All right. So when the proprietor get a title, so actually that title is indivisibility of title, meaning the state guarantees that no one can challenge the ownership of the title unless there is other element like fraud or mistake in documentation or so on and so forth. Okay, so in Malaysia, land is state matters. So land in Malaysia governed by state. Okay. So every state have their own land office. They have pejabat tanah negeri, and then they also have pejabat tanah daerah. Okay. That a short introduction on the land system in Malaysia. Right. So when the land in Malaysia governed under a state authority, so we have to know what the power of the state authority. Okay, among the power of state authority is to alienate the land, ataupun bahasa mudahnya untuk bagi tanah pada orang. Okay, to alienate the land to the people, pada rakyat. Rakyat means sama ada individu or corporation or any entity. Alright. Other than that, the state authority also will issue title. Once they alienate the land, they will issue the title, or either qualified title or final title. Okay, one we will discuss more details later. Okay. Other than that, the state authority also will forfeit the land or surrender the land. Okay. And then lastly, they also will impose certain and restrictions in the title. The one also will cover on the land, which we will discuss on the Malay Reserve. Okay. So all of these, the power that the state authority have in relate to the land matters in the state, okay, in Malaysia. All right. So we have two types of title. All right. So we have two types of title. First is registry title, or in Malay we call it geran pendaftar. And another one is land office title ataupun geran pejabat tanah. Okay, registry title, the one governed by pejabat tanah negeri, and another one is land office title, is pejabat tanah daerah. Okay, this registry title they divide it into two: qualified title and final title. Okay. Qualified title mudah untuk kita faham, hak milik sementara. Okay, hak milik sementara, sebab because tak ramai orang faham kenapa ada hak milik sementara. Okay. Okay. Adakah hak milik sementara lawannya adalah hak milik kekal? Okay. Pun tak juga. Okay. So qualified title is hak milik sementara, and then final title is hak milik. Kita tak panggil dia hak milik kekal. Kita panggil dia hak milik. Final title is hak milik, qualified title is hak milik sementara. Okay. Kita akan bincang nanti the difference between two lah. Okay. Hak milik sementara, we have freehold and we have leasehold. Okay. Freehold, pegangan kekal. Leasehold, pajakan, pegangan pajakan. And then these two, freehold and leasehold, kita panggil sebagai hak milik sementara daftar atau HSD, yang ada dalam geran nantilah, yang nanti saya tunjuk lagi. Okay, and final title also divide into two, freehold and leasehold. Okay, ada pajakan kekal dan ada pajakan ada hak milik kekal dan ada pajakan. Okay, and then under freehold we call it geran or GRN in the title number. And for leasehold we call it pajakan negeri or PN in the title number in our title. Okay, this is one type of title, geran pendaftar, and another one is land office title. Okay. land of your title governed by land office daerah, pejabat tanah daerah, pejabat tanah district land office. Jabatan daerah also divide into two, qualified title and final title, hak milik sementara dan hak milik. Okay. Also divide into two, freehold and leasehold, dan kita panggil dia sebagai hak milik sementara mukim. Okay. In the title number, they put it HSM, blah blah blah, the number, the title number, and then the final title also have two, freehold and leasehold. They put it as Grand Mukim or GM, and the number, the title number, and Pajakkan Mukim for leasehold. They put it PM and the title number. Okay, these two types of title in Malaysia, right? This is the examples of title, issue document of title. Actually, we have registry document of title and issue document of title. When the state alienate the land to people, they will issue two title, registry document of title and issue document of title. Registry document of title, both is the same. Issue document of title is photocopy or the same copy as registry document of title. The only thing is registry document of title hold by the pejabat tanah, and issue document of title will be given to the proprietor or the owner of the land. Okay, they have to keep. Okay, right. So when we talk about land, I think this is the famous, the famous area that I think not only rent but also the people outside. Okay. In surface, they prefer freehold rather than leasehold. Okay. That is history actually. Okay. So we refer first with section 70 Kanun Tanah Negara or National Land Code. That one before the amendment. The alienation of state land under this act shall consist of its disposal by the state authority in perpetuity or for a term not exceeding 99 years. Okay, that's the point. In perpetuity means freehold, and another one, for a term not exceeding 99 years is freehold. That's the term in National Land Code. We don't have freehold in freehold term in the National Land Code. Okay. So when that particular section being referred, so before the amendment, the state authority has more or less absolute right to give the land to the people. They can give either in category of freehold, or they can give in category of leasehold. Either one. Okay, up to state authority. All right. Because of that, most of the people keep apply to have freehold land from state authority, okay, rather than leasehold, okay. And the state authority actually before the amendment really give a lot of freehold status to the people, to the rakyat, okay. That's why in 1984, there is amendment made in our Kanun Tanah Negara, where the law amended give conditions to the freehold status, where the freehold status only can be given in three situations. Okay, in three situations. The first one is to federal government or the public authority. Okay. The second one is for the public purpose. And the third one is for special circumstances. I think the first two is no problem. Very straightforward. The only thing is for the special circumstances, because the Kanun Tanah Negara not defined what is the special circumstances. Okay, so that one become also this the issue on that particular time, where there is a cases where the parties brought into the court questions on the status of the freehold given to certain party. Right. That's why the court give definition of the special circumstances for the special on the case-by-case basis. Okay. On case-by-case basis. So each application or each explication on the freehold status, it will be touched or it will be investigated on case basis. Okay. Okay. So actually, with that amendment also, it restrict the state authority from given the freehold title to the people. Okay, most of the land, or most of the type of the land given to the people is leasehold. Okay, only for these three circumstances or these three conditions fulfilled, then the state authority will give the freehold status to the people. All right. All right. In our title also, there is a restriction. Okay, either they put it as sekatan kepentingan, or they put it as status of the land. Okay, this is the three restrictions that the state authority put in the title. The first is Bumi Putra restriction. The second one is transfer of ownership restriction, and the third one is Malay reservation restriction. Okay, the purpose is to restrict the ownership and transferability rights of the land. Okay, meaning that the state authority has the right to restrict during the alienation of the land to the people. Okay, it's also to balance the socio-economic patterns of the land ownership in Malaysia. The first one, Bumi Putra restriction and transfer of ownership restrictions, that one, there's two. They put in the sekatan kepentingan or restriction in interest in the title. Okay. Normally they put it as tanah ini tidak boleh dipindah milik, tidak boleh digadai, tidak boleh disewakan kepada selain daripada Bumi Putra. Ataupun the land cannot be transferred, cannot be charged, cannot be leased unless with the permission or consent of the state authority. Okay, they give back to the state authority to decide whether the transfer, whether the charge can be allowed or not. And in that sense, the state authority can control the ownership of the land. That's the issue where normally when we deal with leasehold, owned by Bumi, and then later on we try to sell it to the non-Bumi, and then when the lawyer first place we rejected, and then we have to appeal. So the chance is 50-50. The applicant must give the solid reason why they want to transfer from Bumi to non-Bumi. Okay. Some cases they approve, and some cases they reject. Right. So this is restriction, and the last one is Malay reserve restriction. That one is very solid. Okay. So in federal constitution, the words Malay defined in the federal constitution, our Perlembagaan Malaysia, dalam artikel 160. Okay. Which the Malay consists of 4 elements. Okay, the first one, okay, and the second one, Malay habitually, cakap Melayu sebagai percakapan harian atau kebiasaan. Ataupun the third one, the observe Malay adat. That one I think nowadays we mix the adat, normally not purely Malay. All right, and the last one, have roots in country to at least one parent. This is I think the last one is very relevant in practical side, because when we deal with the Malay reserve property, we will face that problem when the buyer background, they came from Sabah, they came from Sarawak, even some of them we call it as Mama, right? Actually, whether they have legal right to own Malay reserve property. Okay. So I have a case before when my buyer actually a Malay. My buyer actually a Malay, but actually the mother is Malay, purely Malay from Perak, and the father is Chinese Muslim. So actually, at the first place, there is conflict, the issue in the land office, whether actually my buyer has right to own the property. Either she is Malay or she is Chinese or what? Because the father is the Chinese. Okay. So when we go back to federal constitution, that the fourth element have rules in country through at least one parent. It not stated very clear whether the parents it will be either parents, either the mother or the father. Okay. So in my case, the state the pejabat tanah allow the application, okay, to own the property. Okay. So we have to be clear on the definition of Malays. On the simple part, normally we refer to the birth certificate. Not only the buyer of the property, but So the land office normally will ask for that particular document, okay, birth certificates, because as we can see our birth certificate actually not state our race, okay, just they put only race of the parents, okay, the father or the mother. That's why normally Jabat Tanah will ask for that documents to justify, to approve the application from the buyer. I think that's all from me. I touch only on the surface of the jurisdiction of the law, and then Abang Ikhwan will more elaborate and relate to the current situations that we have now, okay? Especially on our business in real estate. What the opportunity we have to deal with that kind of the property, right? The freehold property, the leasehold property, and we relate to the Malay Reserve property. Okay, thank you, and I pass to Abang Ikhwan.
There is a question actually before Hisham you go.
Yeah.
Jessica Tai asks, what about if it's a couple, a Malay wife and a Chinese Muslim husband, can they join purchase the Malay reserve land and enjoy the 5% bumi discount?
Yeah.
Kalau wife dia Malay and then
Malay
husband
wife,
dia
Chinese Muslim husband can join purchase the Malay Reserve land enjoy 5%. Apparently not. The husband cannot put the name in the title. So only wife can put the name in the title. They can do joint loan, because very obvious is a Chinese. Am I answer the question?
Yep, thanks.
All right.
Okay, is it my time now?
Yeah.
Okay. So when we agreed to do this, I discussed with Hisham. Hisham, you said you were only going to do 3 slides. You did, I think, 10. So, okay, I need to share my slides. Okay, thank you, Hisham, for his explanation on land titles. Oh, okay, it's running by itself. Actually, this is the main ingredient of our presentation today. It also relates to George's wonderful picture about the diamond thing. And this is where we want to look at new market opportunities that we can take advantage of looking forward of and considering current market situation and also what is going to happen in the future. So if we look back this year, because we are only left with 1 month and a half of 2020, if you remember, this year started off with the Australian bushfire in January. And also that month, if you know Kobe Bryant, great basketball icon, also passed away due to helicopter crash. And then around March, we had a MCO due to COVID-19. Even until now, there was a rumor during in the middle of all of that Kim Jong-un passed away, but he did not. In the picture in the middle there is George Floyd, who was basically killed by a police officer in the US, and that led to a movement, the Black Lives Matter, all around the US. So it was quite chaotic there. And then they had the election with Donald Trump and Joe Biden. And Joe became the 46th US president. And also, we also had our domestic issues. You see on the bottom right, if you know whose character that is. I follow that it's quite good, very funny. Takes interesting perspective on what's going on in our situation in Malaysia. So there are a lot of things changing. There are a lot of people either changing jobs or moving to another place. They had to do things differently. They had to do their work differently. We had to do our work differently and change our mindset. And also we had to learn new skills. We had to present in front of a camera instead of handling a viewing normally at houses. So a lot of things happened this year. Going from that, let's say, if you go to a real in our business, basically in the real estate market, we are operating in there are tiers to each cities. So there's tier 1 cities, tier 2 and tier 3. So tier one cities basically are developed and established real estate markets. Highly developed, you have all the amenities, you have all the schools, most expensive real estate. Senang punya example would be KLCC, Mont Kiara, maybe Shah Alam, if you can consider that. And then tier 2 cities, cities that are in the process of developing their real estate market. It's on the way there, but it's not there yet. So there are cities like that. And tier 3 cities are undeveloped or non-existent real estate markets. This is where maybe all the kampongs are and all the places that are so far away from LRT, MRT or highways. Yeah. So in the current situation, I would say that most real estate agency and agents, even in here in Redfield, most of us are doing business in tier 1, established real estate markets. And we handle real demand and we get good money because we are selling quite expensive properties. If you're doing KLCC properties, they are minimum at 1 million and above. And so you can get higher competition because all of the rents all over Malaysia is actually trying to compete with you to get basically a piece of the cake. So competition is quite high. So consider that this situation, it is somewhat of a red ocean, meaning a lot of people are doing the same thing. So if you think about this situation, or if let's say you are thinking about this, then you must have this question is, how do you grow your own business in a highly competitive market? So today I will propose for you to consider tier 2 markets. And I start with some place where I am not 100% professional here, but I am quite familiar. I guess there are some other people that are more familiar about this place compared with me. But let's consider Rawang. Not a lot of agents are doing Rawang in Redfield, but there are other agencies that are focusing in that area more specifically. So there are several areas in Rawang that you need to consider. First is the Rawang, I will call it Rawang CBD, and right off to the left is the Bandar Country Homes. So this, if you if you see this at the bottom, I put this the Uniqlo logo. This is basically Damansara Avenue, where that's where they had their they will have their first I think building there. So consider from the middle of Rawang to Uniqlo, it takes only 36 minutes. That's almost the same as Shah Alam to Kuala Lumpur, 30 minutes through this highway. So and then consider also there are several other small cities, Kuang, Kundang, Bandar Tasik Puteri, Serendah, and Bukit Beruntung. If you consider Puncak Alam as Puncak Alam is to the left, bottom left. That's Bandar Puncak Alam. The development in Shah Alam has progressed so much to the north that it's now taking only 6 minutes to go to basically Rawang. From Bandar Puncak Alam to Bandar Tasik Puteri, it will take only 6 minutes. It's that close. So people are now, developers especially, are now expanding their developments because there are now not much land left to develop in Tier 1 markets. And if you have lands in Tier 1 markets, usually they are expensive, and it is much more economical to develop a high-rise compared to a landed property. So for people that want a landed development, they would usually go to the outskirts of any cities and develop there because it takes because it costs less to acquire the land, and also there will be future growth in those areas. And so this is why we can see that from Shah Alam, from this location, is already progressing up to the north. Is going to meet Rawang eventually. So even here, there are, I think Gamuda is very active in developing in this area. Tasik Puteri, the prices have been increasing for quite a while from 10 years ago. It's totally different market now with the access from Lata, from Bandar Tasik Puteri will take also 30 minutes to Kuala Lumpur. So people are now considering to purchase something in Rawang because if they purchase the same thing in Kuala Lumpur with the same budget, they will get less space. They will get maybe a studio apartment, but then if they go all the way to only 30 minutes away to the north, they can get a landed double-story property from around 400 to 500,000 only. So this is why this is one of the opportunities that maybe we can explore, because when we are selling those properties, we are selling basically we are selling basic needs of people wanting a roof over their heads. Yeah, so those kind of demand will never go away. People will always need a roof over their heads at the right budget. So if we look closer, okay, this is the only data that I managed to pull within this time to prepare. So if you look at the median price in Rawang here, it is steadily increasing and it is around 352,000, the median price, and also it is getting closer to the Selangor overall median price at 400,000. And if we look closer to Rawang, the Rawang CBD right off Bandar Country Homes. So in Bandar Country Homes, there are actually 4 projects going on now. The first one is Sarjana Rawang by Glomac. They are selling double-story houses at around 450,000. So we are currently selling that, but then at the moment we do not have any units available anymore, and so the demand is quite strong. I think the whole unit was booked after around 1 year. So the demand is there. We also have to the top, there is M Aruna by Masing. They are selling double-story houses also at around 470,000. So I've talked with John Quek about this, and this 470,000 was their first phase, and they sold out that in 6 months, basically. Now they are on the second phase where it's around 500,000 net price for a double-story terrace in M Aruna. So between Sarjana Rawang and also M Aruna, there's one quite small development called Serene Residence. So Serene Residence took a different route. They did not want to build double-story houses because there were three other developments around there selling all two double-story houses. So they decided to do 2.5-story and 3 stories landed development, and their net price is around 600,000. It is slightly higher, but then it is focusing on bigger families, people that have double or triple generation living together, so they can consider this type of housing for their families instead of this M Aruna or Sarjana Rawang. It is also it's completed, but then we are trying to sell it off. So we're giving special promotions, and if you need any more information about that, we can talk to Abu, who is the project manager for Serene Residence, and he will explain all of the projects details for you. I forgot to mention about Taman Saintex. Taman Saintex is also another development. I think No Years is doing it at the moment. They are selling houses at 420,000 for double-story terrace house right in front of Tesco. It's very cheap because at the same price we can only get a high-rise in let's say if you go to KL or if you go to Shah Alam, also we cannot get this kind of prices, and they are steadily increasing. So this is why we need to look at these new opportunities and this new demand, because every year there will be families that are looking for a roof over their heads, and at 400,000 is basically for someone who is just starting to work or right in their 30s to 35 years of age. This is where they will look at housing. Yeah, because for Sarjana Rawang, a lot of our buyers were from KL, and they did not want to buy a high rise in KL because they were tired living in high rise. So they wanted to live in a landed development. They wanted to plant plants in their terrace houses. So that was why they bought in Sarjana Rawang and Serene Residence and Aruna. So this is one of the opportunities that's available for us, and we can take advantage of this. And then next, let's look at Shah Alam. So this is some place where I'm quite familiar with. I would consider Shah Alam as Tier 1 because the maintenance fee in the condos in Shah Alam is already the same rate as KL punya maintenance fee. And in the middle of Shah Alam, we do not have any lands for landed properties except at several places. Number one is in Clover, section U12, where the East team is doing this project. They are having a double-story terrace house selling at 750 to 800,000. So that's basically double the price of what we can get in Rawang. So very, very high in value. We also have Delania, which is semi-D, double story semi-D, which our group is selling at around 1.4 million. So this is very, because land supply is already limited, so developer can put it at those prices. So in general, even in sub-sale category, landed houses in Shah Alam is around 600 to 800, 900,000 per unit. And if you look at the development from Kuala Lumpur to PJ, to Shah Alam, to Kelang, all these grey areas are all developed real estate areas. And if you look at towards the south to Kota Kemuning and then Bandar Sarjana Putra, in the middle of these two areas, there's one green area here that I put a circle there. So these are actually areas where there is a lot of Malay reserve land. This is mostly all Malay reserve lands. Yeah. So considering the growth of cities going to the south, so and then in between Bandar Sarjana Putra and Kota Kemuning, there is a big area there. This will be the next, what I believe, this will be the next growth area in the future, because developers, if they want to develop in the middle of cities like Shah Alam, they need to acquire land at such a higher price. But then in areas in between Kota Kemuning and Bandar Sarjana Putra here, they can acquire land at a much lower price. And this is why you can see there's such a lot of developments going in that area now, and they are selling their properties at around 450, 500 and 500,000. Because this area, even though, I think we can take a closer look. Okay, here. So this is Kota Kemuning, Bandar Sarjana Putra, and Rim Bayu. This is IJM development. Sarjana Putra is LBS, and Kota Kemuning, multiple developers there. So in between these three basically cities, bandar ni, di tengah-tengah ni is such a large area, and most of it are Malay reserve land. So developers are buying and developing in this area a lot, and we are working with one of the developer, Purkon. So they have around 15 plots of land in that area that they will develop in the future. Yeah. So in this area, this is where we think that if people cannot buy in Shah Alam at 800,000, we can offer them a 500,000 one double story terrace in Jalan, we call it Jalan Kebun. This is Jalan Kebun area. So one of the landed housing projects that we are doing is Impian Nurani. We are selling it at 500,000 per unit, so it's 2064. It is Malay reserve, and this one is 550 net. Please consider it's 4 rooms and 4 bathroom. Yeah, so each room has its own bathroom. So this kind of projects, if someone wanted to buy a landed house but they cannot buy in Shah Alam at 800,000, they can consider to buy one at 500,000, but it's in Jalan Kebun. Access from Jalan Kebun to city center Shah Alam is around 20 minutes only. And you can get there even faster if you use LKSE highway. And then if you go to, we also have another one, Impian Jiwa, also the same specification, also Malay reserve, and this one is selling at 500,000. So there are these new opportunities abound where we can, if let's say you have clients, you have Malay clients that want to buy housing in Shah Alam, and they have a budget of around 500, 550,000, you can consider this type of projects to do. So they usually this kind of developers, they just develop one row for one taman usually, yeah? And then they will move on to another plot of land. So it's small developments, but then this is opportunity that you can take advantage of. A lot of other agents are doing it and are focusing in this type of areas because there are real demand for housing like this. If I can say, there are some there are some Chinese agency that really focus on Malay reserve market, and they go out in these markets, and we are now basically competing with them. And if you are interested with this project, this is impian. We call it impian. So whatever projects are around 500,000, it will be under this branding, impian, and the project manager for that is Saudara Hisham. You can contact him at this number to get more information. He knows about the place more than I do, so you can contact him. That is the end of my presentation, and I open for any question, and I pass back to George.
I think, Hisham, there's a very interesting question here. Two questions that I think like you probably can understand, you can probably answer it technically. What's the condition to be met if a company wants to buy a Malay reserve land?
Okay, question from Mr. Lingam.
Yes.
I think for this thing, I refer to Federated Malay Reservation Enactment 1933. In section 2, there is a definition of Malay holding company. So the definition says that a company where all the members of which are Malays, and the articles of association prohibits the transfer of its shares to any person who is not Malay. So if we look in the current situations, actually I can give examples in our project. Actually, Pukon is not a Malay company, okay, but they managed to run the project because they set up a new company with all the Malays members inside there.
So basically, in the body corporate, if all the registered directors, shareholders are 100% Malay,
yeah,
then you are considered a Malay company under, I think the enactment, right? This is the old enactment for Malay reservation land. Then you qualify to acquire Malay reserve land. You don't have to be a GLC to do that. GLC is a total separate thing, and yes, GLC may not be a Malay company, right? Yeah. Depending on the setup of the body corporate. I hope that answers your question, Lingam. There's another question here from Stephen. How difficult is it to convert leasehold to freehold? And what are the requirements apart from political reasons? I want to call the Prime Minister first.
Better. I think I just respond. What can I respond is that my presentations, the amendment in 1984, actually the purpose is to make it difficult for the applicant who want to convert leasehold to freehold. The purpose of the amendment is to give more power to the state authority to make sure that they not simply give freehold to the people. Okay, I think I only can respond on that.
And I also think it's because the state gains its main revenue from all the renewal of leases in the future. It's an income to the state as well. The renewal fees of the lease. Yeah. There's another question. If a developer builds a condominium on a Malay reserve land, can it be sold to non-Malay?
Oh, sure cannot. Sure cannot. The status are the same.
Yeah. So there is a lot of situation here is because very clearly in National Land Code, very clear in the Malay Reservation Enactment that prohibits all Malay reservation lands to be owned by non-Malay. Correct me if I'm wrong, Hisham.
Yes, sure.
Yes. But there are some cases, right, where because the authority in power have certain influences and authority to do certain things that may not be in line with the law, right? So, for example, we know that there are a lot of cases in Johor, for example, where the political situation in Johor, that the state of Johor sometimes don't 100% comply to the National Land Code. There are many cases. So the short answer to it is no. The long answer to it is if you twist someone's arm and someone have that power to change certain things, he still is challengeable in the court if he wants to do it. So in short answer is basically you can't. Malay reservation is very clear. It's only for Malays, right? There are certain cases where it's politically motivated, but generally based on National Land Code and the enactment of Malay Reservation Enactment, not possible, right? Well, this is another question. Now got durian question, Hisham. This is a durian question.
Right.
Would a foreign investor buy into durian orchard? What is the rule regarding to the matter? Being durian, I suppose they would likely refer to Pahang. Okay. Basically, I think it's asking, can a foreigner own land, agricultural land with fruit trees? Yeah, you want to answer that question?
I think this one, I think we have FIS for foreign invest. I forgot what.
Foreign Investment Committee.
Yes, I think that one refer to that, and there is certain rules that they have to comply.
Right, and I think if I'm not mistaken, based on EPU laws, Economic Planning Unit, that governs foreign investments or of certain sizes, I think the foreigners technically cannot buy agricultural land that is with trees and for the purpose of doing agricultural businesses. So I think a lot of times those foreigners come in, they are in a proxy, they come in from a proxy standpoint, they have proxy that's elected in order for them to do that. There are certain laws saying that you cannot do that because the government is trying to protect the land usage or the land availability for the public, right? If the foreigners come in with 100 million and they start buying up all the lands, then the local people will not be. We are still in a very protected environment when it comes to some of this acquisition of land for Malaysians, for locals. FIC, Foreign Investment Committee, FIC. Where can we find out more information regarding leasehold converted to freehold? Specific reference to Tamanta when the surroundings are leasehold, same as Tamanta. I don't understand the question. What do you mean? Are you asking the question where can it be converted from leasehold to freehold? Is that your question? Correct. Keep your right. Foreigners cannot buy agricultural land. Cannot. Correct. Yeah, I don't understand the question, Aline. What do you mean by that question? I can't understand. What are the specific circumstances for a leasehold to be converted to a freehold? Is that what you're saying? Hisham, you got an answer for that?
The specific circumstances. Okay. I think I open back. The. Okay. Actually, special circumstances in the amendment are not defined by the code. Okay. it is by case basis. Even there is a court case which discuss on that matter. I think I can quote one case. Yeah.
Quoting cases.
Quoting cases.
Yeah, so the law is sometimes being defined by the precedent that is being set. That's why Hisham is looking at cases.
Yeah.
There are certain things that you have to go back to cases for reference to show that how can it work, right? Yeah, case and how big the cables, you're absolutely right. Okay. What's the next question? Why is a foreign wife cannot get her bungalow title to be transferred to a Chinese husband? Don't really understand that question as well. Yeah.
I think what she meant is after the passing of the Chinese husband, it couldn't be transferred to the foreigner wife. I think currently maybe it's because of the ruling. Yeah.
Yes, correct. So depending on what state you are, what situation you are, those are a bit dicey. Because I gotta understand the whole case to understand why that didn't happen. Yeah. Any other questions? Right. I think today's conversation is good. I think you all have a lot of questions. Feel free to use Workplace to kind of ask your questions. I think Hisham or Abang Ikhwan will be there to answer those questions. But it's when you talk about the area of land issues, right? Land matters, right? Basically, Malaysia have a lot of land laws. Our land laws is probably one of the most comprehensive land laws in the region. Many Asian countries look to our national land code as a reference in how to enact laws to govern the way land is being dealt with, or the dealings of land. And there are many, of course, you understand there are many, you must understand the powers that's vested between the state, the federal government, and the state government basically governs all the land laws. So there are certain technical questions that you ask. Okay, for example, how do you convert from freehold to leasehold, leasehold to freehold? There are many conditions, and you have to write in and state your case to the state authority, right? To see why you justify. I have seen cases where a development in Monkiara from freehold become leasehold, because the condition is to increase, they wanted to increase their plot ratio to build more units in a smaller piece of land, but they don't want to pay so much development order. They then reverse back that land into leasehold. So there is those possibilities. So those are very technical situation where you need to probably go in on a case by case. But today, I think we will try to cover a very general understanding of, at least you know what is leasehold, you know what is freehold, you know what is Malay reservation land, so that helps you to think about, is there an opportunity for business? I think the opportunity here is to focus on the business opportunity, learning some technical understanding to help you think through what the opportunities. There is a huge market for the Bumiputra market right now, where they are looking for affordable homes, a huge market there. And having that Malay reservation opportunity right now that's coming up, there's a huge trend right now that Malay Reserve development in the Klang Valley has become very trendy. And it's trendy is because the cost of acquisition of the land is cheaper for the developer to acquire and develop. And also it's a solution for people who wanted to look for affordable houses that are not compromising on space, right? For 400,000, they can buy a double-story house, not a studio apartment. So those are the opportunities that I think we want to bring to you today and talk about that, so that you all have that understanding. And I think Hisham and Abang has done a very good job in kind of talking about this and bringing that opportunity to you guys. If there's no more questions, George, do you have anything to add?
No, I don't have. It's okay, John.
Okay, so can I have the announcement, please? We have a few announcements to make today before we end the day. Okay, so this afternoon, we are having a training to help you to effectively market or do campaigns by learning how to do copywriting or to how to write the right captions for your ads, right? It works differently for Facebook. It works differently for Instagram. And I think those are important understandings that you all want to have. So we have Yuan and Yongqin. They will be helping us to give us that training this afternoon. So do sign up. It's at 2 p.m. this afternoon. Next slide. Now, for those of you who are guests who are looking at understanding our systems and models, please do reach out to us at hello@FREEHOLD, and then we'll be having some books to kind of, you can order some books so that you can understand how we do business as we move forward. Okay, thank you. Can I ask Isham, can you just share with us, in your experience from a legal standpoint, what are some of the, like a lot of agents, they are afraid of leasehold properties. They say leasehold properties, oh, I want to stay away, I don't want to work. And I know you sell a lot of leasehold property, correct?
Yeah.
What's your advice to the agents about the opportunity in looking at leasehold properties as well?
For me, nowadays I think we cannot take it too far between freehold and leasehold. We have to touch it at the same put it at the same level. So we take freehold as much as we take leasehold listing. I think to be afraid of on the leasehold title. Even nowadays, the consent only take up to 1 month only to have the consent from land office.
Yep.
Compared to before, lah.
Yep. Yep. Thank you. Yes, because of CMCO, there's a little bit of land office delay right now because of the processes. But generally, the consent is now a little bit more efficient than before already. Definitely more efficient than before already. Abang, in terms of Malay Reserve market right now, what are some of your advice to the agents here who have yet to explore this? How do they start? And what are the opportunities that you already can see right now?
So the Malay Reserve projects that we have, they basically are offering products that are affordable. So if you have leads, I think if you run your campaign leads, command leads, you get a lot of leads. And sometimes the leads do not match of what you initially was promoting. So if you then you can divert that to some of our projects, because if you're selling 800,000, 900,000 units, and they don't have the budget for that, and they only have 500,000 budget, so we can offer, we basically offer a wide range of properties from 200,000 to 500,000. So it just depends on your client. If you have the lead, we can divert them to any products, and we sell everything.
Yep. Awesome, thank you, Abang. I think that sums it all. That a lot of us there are about 148 agents in Malaysia, in our KW region in Malaysia right now, running campaigns online. That was the latest statistics that we got. It means 148 of you guys are running campaigns only right now. So if those leads that you get that doesn't match the particular product, like what Abang is saying, right? You need to take full advantage of those money spent on those leads and start thinking about opportunities that you can just put in front of them, so that you don't waste those opportunities, because every lead counts. Every lead is a cost to your business. And if you maximize those leads to the opportunities that's available to you in front of you right now, you have a higher chance of winning. And you have a system and a group of people here that's willing to serve and support you guys for your leads right now. I'm sure they're all very helpful and be able to support you guys. One of the things that I realized right now in my journey and conversation with a lot of agents right now, particularly when you're running campaigns, especially in Bahasa Melayu, targeting the BM speaking market, the cost per lead is really low. I don't know about you guys, Abang or Hisham, but the cost per lead on campaigns, when you target the Malay market, for some reason, the cost per lead is really, really low. If you're in the Malay marketplace, use those opportunities to target them and then get those leads at the cheaper cost. You put them in places where you can make some money. And I think both Abang and Hisham will be there to support you to get that done. Okay. So with that, thank you very much, guys. You all have a good rest of the day. We all see you in the next week. Now, I want to quickly announce as well, next week onwards, there will be no trainings done because we're all preparing for a big announcement on 25th of November. You will notice that there's an announcement on Workplace saying that there will be a big event coming on in 25th of November for some special announcements. So stay tuned to that. And in the meantime, go and review back all the trainings that we have missed on our YouTube channel. If the virtual support will post the YouTube channel on our chat box here. To all our guests, do welcome to subscribe to that channel and also to kind of watch through some of this video and repeat that video again so that you can learn some things that you have missed out in the past. So Abang, Ikhwan and Hisham, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for taking time out of business to educate us. Thank you, Josh, for organizing this. Thank you, everyone. You all have a good Friday and a good weekend. God bless and thank you all.